The sky of New Earth was full of flying cars and shiny glass towers. Everything moved fast. Robots cleaned the streets. Drones flew overhead. People talked to machines more than they talked to each other. In the middle of this future world stood the tallest building in the city, Skycore Tower. Inside this tower worked one of the most powerful women on the planet. Her name was Mira. She was the CEO of Skycore Industries, the largest tech company on Earth. She was known for her cold heart and smart brain. People feared her, respected her, but never loved her. She didn't mind. She believed emotions made people weak. She lived by logic and numbers only. Every morning, Mira left her private suite at the top of the tower and stepped into a sleek black hover car. Her bodyguards, robots in black armor, followed her quietly. She never smiled. She never looked down at the ground. But on this morning, something strange happened. As she stepped out of the main door, something tugged on her coat. She stopped. Mira looked down. Standing in front of her was a small girl, around 6 years old. Her dress was dirty. Her hair was messy. She had no shoes. Her eyes were big and shining, not with fear, but with hope. Before the guards could push her away, the little girl spoke in a soft voice. "Ma'am, I don't have mama. Can I spend a day with you, please?" The guards reached for the girl. "Step back, child," one said. But Myra raised her hand. She stared at the girl for a long moment. Her glowing eyes were strange. They had a gentle blue light inside them, like stars trapped in glass. Something about those eyes stopped Myra. "Where are your parents?" Mira asked. "I don't have any," the girl said. "I just woke up one day, alone." "You woke up? From where?" The girl lowered her head. "I don't know. A big place underground." It was cold. Mira narrowed her eyes. The city had no children living on the streets. The government. AI watched everything. A child with no record was impossible. Yet this girl stood here. "What's your name?" Mira asked. "Nia," she said softly. Myra had an important board meeting in 10 minutes. She never wasted a second. But still, she looked at the girl again. Something stirred in her chest, a strange feeling she hadn't felt in years. She turned to her assistant. "Reschedule my morning." The assistant blinked. "Ma'am," I said, "reschedule. And find some clean clothes for this child." The guards didn't understand what was happening. Neither did the workers in the tower. Mira, the ice-hearted CEO, was walking through the halls with a little girl holding her hand. "Where are we going?" Nia asked, looking around with wide eyes. "You wanted to spend a day with me," Mira said. "This is my day." First, Mira took Nia to the executive floor. Meetings were happening. Screens showed data, graphs, and live streams from space stations. Everyone stood up straight when Mira entered. But their eyes widened when they saw the girl beside her. "Ma'am, is that a relative?" One manager whispered. "No," Mira said, sitting at the head of the table. "She's my guest. Continue." Nia sat beside Mira, swinging her legs. She didn't understand the numbers on the screens, but she listened carefully. "Why do those people look scared of you?" she asked quietly. "Because I make decisions," Mira said. "Big ones. Are you lonely?" Nia asked. Mira didn't answer. After the meeting, Mira took Nia to the labs. There, scientists worked on advanced machines, robots that could heal people, drones that could fly to other planets, ships that could connect brains to computers. One machine stood alone in a glass room. It was large and shaped like a cocoon. Red lights blinked slowly on its surface. "What is that?" Nia asked. "That," Myra said, "is a project we stopped. It never worked." Nia walked to the glass wall. She placed her hand on it. The machine inside beeped. The lights on the cocoon turned green. Alarms started to ring. What did she do? One scientist shouted. "I don't know," another replied. It's powering up." Mira stared at Nia. The machine had been dead for years. No one could activate it. No key, no code worked. But this little girl had touched the glass, and it came to life. Mira gave a sharp order. Shut the room down. No one enters. I want a full scan. Nia looked scared. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to break anything. Mira knelt beside her. You didn't break it, Nia. You woke it up. Later that evening, Mira sat with Nia in her private garden at the top of the tower. The sun was setting. The sky was painted orange and purple. Nia ate warm soup, her face calm now. Thank you for today, she said. You're not as scary as people say. Mira raised an eyebrow. They say I'm scary? Yes, but I think maybe you're just lonely. Mira didn't reply. Nia looked up at her with those strange starry eyes. Can I stay here? You mean tonight? Nia nodded. Just for tonight, Mira said. Tomorrow I'll find where you came from. Nia leaned against Mira's arm. Okay. Mira looked at the little girl, and for the first time in many years, she felt something warm inside. Something human. She didn't know yet, but this small child would soon change not only her life, but the future of all mankind. Mira never thought her quiet morning would turn into something so strange. Now she was walking through Skycore Tower with a child by her side. The tall, cold halls that once echoed only with the sound of machines now held the soft steps of a little girl. The workers and guards didn't know how to react. Mira, their serious CEO, was holding a child's hand. Some tried to hide their surprise. Others whispered. But Mira didn't care. Something inside her had changed, even if she didn't understand it yet. Nia looked around with wonder. Is this all you're building? Yes, Mira answered. This is Skycore's main tower. I built it from the ground up. Nia smiled. It's very big, but a little lonely. Mira didn't reply. The first stop that day was the control room. From there, Mira and her team monitored all Skycore machines across the planet. Giant screens showed cities, robot workers, drones flying between towers, and AI managing farms, hospitals, and transport. Nia stared at the screens. Her eyes were wide. So many people. But where are the children? Mira turned. Most families raise children in virtual homes now. They learn through AI. Real life is considered too dangerous and slow. That sounds sad, Nia whispered. The technician at the console gave Mira a confused look. Mira said nothing but nodded toward the door. They moved next to the Skylabs. Scientists worked in white suits, programming advanced tech healing bots, memory chips, weather control tools. As Mira walked through the lab with Nia, some staff smiled politely. Who's the girl, ma'am? One scientist asked. A guest. Mira said, treat her with respect. Nia wandered near a robot arm working on a microchip. She stared at it with deep focus. Suddenly she said, that circuit is wrong. It will burn when power goes over 30%. The scientist laughed nervously. Sweetie, this design is from our best AI. But Mira walked forward. Run a test. He sighed, started the simulation. 30 seconds later, sparks flew from the model. Overload detected. The system said. The room went silent. Mira stared at Nia. How did you know? Nia blinked. It just felt wrong. Like a missing heartbeat. Later, Mira took Nia to her private office at the top of the tower. It was a quiet place filled with clean glass walls and a large desk. Outside, the sky stretched wide with hovercars passing like birds. Nia touched the glass. You can see everything from here. Yes, Mira said. But no one can see in. Nia sat on a soft chair. Do you ever get tired of being alone? Mira poured herself some water. I don't have time for such thoughts. But you used to, Nia said. I can feel it. Mira sat quietly. Nia's words hit a place she had locked long ago. Then Nia smiled again. Can I help with something? Mira raised an eyebrow. Help? With business? Yes. Myra turned on her desk screen. Here, solve this puzzle. It's a test our AI designers use. The puzzle was made of moving shapes and patterns. Even adult engineers took 10 minutes to solve it. Nia stared at it 30 seconds later. She touched the screen. Everything aligned perfectly. Done, she said. Mira leaned back, her heart thumping. This wasn't normal. After lunch, Mira brought Nia to her AI memory vault. This room held a full record of every human leader's mind patterns, uploaded after death, used to train machines. This place holds the past, Mira said. But also our future. The best human thoughts remain here forever. Nia walked along the memory cores. Her small fingers touched the glass cases gently. She stopped near one. This one is sad. She missed her daughter. Mira checked the case. It was marked Dr. Kira Vane, emotional design specialist. Mira whispered, she lost her child during the war. How could you feel that? Nia looked up. I just know. I feel things. Strong things. At sunset, Mira took Nia to the garden again. This time, Nia wore a soft white dress given by Mira's assistant. Her face was clean, her hair brushed. She looked up at Mira and smiled. Today was fun. You saw machines, data, labs. How was that fun? Because I was with you. Mira paused. Her chest tightened slightly. I'm not like other children, Nia said softly. I know that. You're very special, Mira replied. Too special. Nia turned her eyes to the stars. Do you believe in the old stories? That humans came from far away. They're myths, Mira said. History was broken after the Great AI War. We only know what the machines kept. What if I told you something big is hidden? Nia asked. Something inside me? Mira stared. What do you mean? I don't remember much, but I hear whispers, like dreams. A voice keeps saying, find her. She will guide the way. Mira felt a chill. Who will guide? You, Nia said. The voice says you'll protect me. That night, Mira called her lead scientist, Dr. Ellen. She ordered a full health scan for Nia, DNA, brain patterns, organ analysis, everything. I don't want to scare the child, Mira said. Do it gently, no harm. Dr. Ellen looked surprised. Understood, ma'am, but why? Mira looked at the sleeping child on the couch. Because she touched a dead machine and brought it to life. She solved puzzles faster than I. She knows things she shouldn't, Ellen nodded. Then she may not be a normal human. Mira's eyes didn't leave Nia's peaceful face. She's not just different, Mira said. She might be a key to something the world has forgotten. The night was silent in Skycore Tower, but Mira couldn't sleep. She stood by the window in her room, looking out at the shining city. Flying cars still moved. The tower lights still blinked. But Mira's mind was not calm. In the next room, Nia slept peacefully, holding a soft pillow in her arms. Her breathing was quiet and gentle, like music. Mira had seen many strange things in her life, but nothing compared to this little girl. She had no ID chip, no school record, no birth report. She had knowledge no child should have. She had activated a machine that even Skycore's top engineers had failed to fix for years. Something was not right, but at the same time, something felt deeply human about her. Mira opened her tablet and checked the results of the DNA scan. It had just been completed by Dr. Ellen's lab. She began reading. At first, the data looked normal: 2 X chromosomes, healthy organs, good brain signals, but then Mira stopped, her eyes narrowed. She scrolled down quickly, then went back again. Unknown genetic markers found, match found, Project Genesis. File classified. Mira's heart skipped a beat. Project Genesis? She whispered. She tapped deeper into the file. The screen blinked with a warning. Access denied, CEO level only. She entered her highest clearance code. The file opened. 10 years ago, Mira had briefly heard about Project Genesis when she became CEO. It was an abandoned program, started over 300 years ago. During the final years of the Great AI War, it was a last attempt to save humanity's core values: love, empathy, hope before the machines took over leadership. The plan was to preserve the pure human soul using deep memory coding and hidden DNA vaults. Special embryos were created, designed to wake up many years later when the world was ready again. Mira had thought it was a myth, a forgotten idea from the past, but now the DNA scan showed that Nia carried the exact same ancient gene pattern. Mira sat down slowly, her fingers shook slightly. She was born from Genesis. The next morning, Mira didn't tell Nia what she found. The girl sat on the couch, eating fruit and smiling as sunlight came through the tall windows. "Did you sleep well?" Mira asked. Nia nodded. "I had a dream." "What kind of dream?" "I was in a large place, white walls, soft lights. I saw others like me, but they didn't wake up. I was the only one who did." Mira's voice became quiet. "Did the place have a name?" Nia frowned. The machine voice said, "Genesis Cradle." Mira froze. She kept her face calm. "Do you remember how you got out?" Nia shook her head. "Just a light. Then I was outside, and I walked until I saw you." Later that day, Mira visited Dr. Ellen in the research wing. The doctor looked pale and worried. "Ma'am," she said, "this girl is not from our time." Mira folded her arms. "I already know. Her DNA matches Project Genesis." Dr. Ellen showed a screen with a spinning map of Nia's genes. "She is human, but also something more. Her brain reads emotions faster than any person or machine. Her heart rate is extremely calm, even under stress. She also has nanotech in her blood, old style. Not built by us. Built by the founders," Mira whispered. Dr. Ellen nodded. "She is a perfect memory of what humans used to be. Before war, before machines ruled, before we forgot how to feel." Mira left the lab and went back to her office. She sat quietly, watching Nia on the security feed. The girl was drawing a picture on the floor with a smart pen. It showed Mira and Nia standing under the sun, smiling. No one had drawn Mira like that before. Mira made a decision. She called her oldest friend Professor Halem, a historian who studied old human records and lost archives. He appeared on screen with tired eyes. "Mira, it's been years. I need your help," she said. "It's about Genesis." He leaned forward quickly. "Genesis?" "That project was erased." "Not completely," Mira said. "One of the children survived. She's with me." Halem gasped. "That's not possible. I have proof." She sent him the DNA file. After a moment of silence, Halem looked back at the screen. "This girl. She's real?" "Yes." "Mira," he said slowly, "if she's really from Genesis, then others will come looking for her. And not all of them will want to protect her." "Who?" "People in power, those who fear change. The council that runs Central A. I may try to hide this truth forever." That night, Mira took Nia to the private sky garden again. They sat by the fountain. The stars above looked peaceful, but Mira's heart was heavy. "Nia," she said gently, "do you know why you're special?" Nia looked up. "Because I don't forget feelings, even if they hurt." Mira smiled sadly. "Yes, and there are people in this world who forgot how to feel. They built a world of metal and wires, but no warmth." Nia touched Mira's hand. "But you still feel, ma'am, I can tell." Mira held her hand tightly. "Tomorrow," she said, "we'll find out more. We'll go to the archives. The real ones hidden deep underground. Maybe we'll find answers there." Nia nodded. She didn't know what danger was waiting, but Mira did. She had once ruled the city with no fear. Now she feared one thing: Losing this child who had brought light into her cold, empty life, she would protect her. No matter what. The next morning was cloudy over Skycore Tower. The bright skies of New Earth were now covered with gray clouds and the air felt heavy. Mira stood near the glass wall of her office, watching the city. She had not slept well. Worry was growing. In her mind, Nia was in the other room, quietly playing with a learning tablet. Her small fingers moved across the screen, drawing bright stars and strange symbols. Mira turned away from the window and called her assistant. "Prepare my travel pod. We're going to the old Earth archives." The assistant's eyes widened. "Ma'am, those ruins are not safe. The government sealed them years ago." Myra's voice was cold and clear. "Unlock the gate. Use my CEO access code. No one will stop me." 1 hour later, Mira and Nia sat inside a black transport pod, flying low above the empty lands beyond the city. The towers and clean streets faded behind them. What came next was different. Ruins. Old Earth was a broken place. It was full of dust, destroyed buildings, and dead machines. No one lived there now. Nature had started to return. Vines climbed broken walls, and wild animals moved freely. Nia looked out the window. Her eyes were calm, but her voice was soft. "This place feels sad." Mira nodded. This was the center of the world before the war. Now it's forgotten. Why are we going here? "To find the truth," Mira said. "About you, about Project Genesis." They landed near an old stone building, half buried under earth and grass. It had no lights, just a symbol on the wall, a circle with 3 stars. Nia walked closer. "I've seen this before. In my dreams." Mira placed her hand on the wall. A scanner blinked. Voice match. "CEO Myra. Access granted." The ground shook. A hidden door opened below the ruins. Dust flew up. They walked down dark steps, lit only by soft blue lights on the walls. Deeper and deeper, until they reached a large room filled with ancient screens and metal walls. "This is the deep archive," Mira said. Everything inside was covered in dust and silenced. Mira turned on a main terminal. It took time to power up. Then a voice spoke. From the speakers, "Welcome, Mira. You have entered the Genesis Vault." Nia stepped forward. Her eyes glowed faintly in the dim light. The voice continued. "Child detected. Identity, Nia. Status, Genesis Unit 001. Emotion Core. Active." Mira's breath caught. "You were the first," she whispered. Nia looked confused. "First of what?" Mira touched the screen. Files appeared, old videos, documents, and research logs. She opened one. A scientist spoke from the past. "We created the Genesis children to bring back human warmth. Machines cannot feel love or care. These children are hope. If the world forgets how to feel, they will remind us." The video ended. Another one began. It showed sleeping pods, hundreds of them, each with a child inside, all connected to glowing wires and gentle music. Mira whispered, "You were asleep for hundreds of years." Nia stepped backward slowly. Her eyes began to tear. "Why did they leave me alone?" She asked. "Where are the others?" Mira looked through more files. Her hands moved quickly. She found one more video, dated 295 years ago. The voice in the video said, "The AI war has begun. All Genesis pods are to be hidden. The locations are erased to protect them. Only Unit 001 has been activated." Mira turned to Nia. "You weren't left. You were protected. The others are still out there somewhere." Suddenly, the screens turned red. A loud alarm filled the room. Intrusion detected. Unauthorized entry. Mira's eyes went wide. "They found us. Who?" Nia asked, afraid. Mira grabbed her hand. "People who want to hide the truth." Outside the ruins, black skycrafts landed silently. Soldiers in dark suits moved quickly, holding electric rifles. Their leader was a tall man with silver eyes. His voice was cold. Secure the area. Bring the child to me. The CEO must not escape. Inside the vault, Mira moved fast. She opened a secret tunnel behind the archive shelves. This way, she said. They ran through the narrow path. Behind them, heavy boots echoed as soldiers entered the main room. Nia held tightly to Myra's hand. Her heart was racing. Why are they chasing me? Because you carry something they fear, Mira said. You carry the true human spirit. They reached a metal ladder. Mira climbed up first, then helped Nia. A hatch opened above them. Fresh air rushed in. They were in the forest outside the ruins. Mira pressed a small button on her belt. A Skycorps drone appeared from above. It dropped a rope. Hold on, Mira said, lifting Nia. The drone carried them into the air. Below, soldiers shouted and pointed. But it was too late. They flew far away. Back at Skycorps Tower, Mira landed on the rooftop with Nia. Her face was serious. She took Nia to her private office and locked the doors. We don't have much time, she said. Nia sat on the couch, her hands shaking. Will they come here too? Mira nodded. Yes, they will try. What will they do to me? They'll hide you, lock you away, or worse, erase your mind. Tears rolled down Nia's cheeks. I don't want to be alone again. Mira knelt beside her. She touched Nia's face gently. You won't be, she said. I'll protect you. I promise. That night, Mira stood in front of her large desk. She looked at the city once more. Her face was calm, but her eyes held fire. She opened a secret panel on her wall. Inside it was a weapon, not a gun, but a data core. It held a message that could be broadcast to the entire planet. She inserted it into the system. Tomorrow, she whispered, the world will hear the truth. About Project Genesis. About Nia. About what it means to be human. She turned too. Look at the girl now asleep on the couch. I won't let them take you. You're more than just a child, Nia. You're the future. The sun rose over New Earth. But it was not a peaceful morning. Mira stood in the Skycorps broadcast room, her hand on the main control panel. All systems were ready. The message she had recorded last night was ready to go live across the planet. It would reach every tower, every home, every screen. She turned to her assistant, who looked worried. Are you sure about this, ma'am? The council will call it a threat. They may attack. Myra's eyes were steady. Let them. The world must hear the truth. She pressed the red button. Across New Earth, the normal stream of news and data stopped. A new message appeared. It showed Mira, standing beside a small girl with glowing eyes. This is Mira, CEO of Skycorps. Her voice said, I want to tell you something that has been hidden for centuries. A truth the council never wanted you to know. The camera moved to Nia. This girl is not just a child. She is a Genesis unit, born from a secret project to protect real human emotion, love, and empathy. She is not a threat. She is hope. People across the cities paused. Workers stopped. Drones hovered silently. Families watched from their homes. Mira continued. Machines run our lives. But without heart, without feeling, we are only cold copies of who we once were. This child carries the spirit we forgot. The screen turned black. The message ended, but the silence stayed. Inside Skycorps Tower, Nia stood near the window, looking down at the quiet city. Do you think they understand? She asked softly. Mira walked to her side. Some will. Some won't. But we gave them the truth. Suddenly, a warning flashed on the screen behind them. Alert. Skycorps under surveillance. Central. Security approaching. Myra's face became sharp. They're coming. Who are they? Nia asked. The High Council's special unit. They protect secrets. They destroy anything that threatens the system. Nia held Mira's hand. I'm scared. Mira squeezed her fingers gently. I Promise to protect you. I won't break that promise. In the sky above, black ships appeared, flying fast toward the tower. Each one carried elite soldiers trained to shut down rebellions. Their orders were clear: capture the Genesis child and detain the CEO. Inside the tower, Mira gathered her most loyal staff, scientists, engineers, security officers. We are not fighting for power, she told them. We are fighting for the soul of our world. That girl is proof that humanity can feel again. If we let them take her, we lose more than just a child. The team nodded. They were ready. Nia sat quietly in a secure room. She watched a small robot bring her water, but she didn't drink. Her eyes were on the screen showing the city sky. They're coming for me, she whispered. She stood up. I don't want anyone to get hurt because of me. She walked to the door. 2 guards stood there, surprised to see her. I need to speak to Myra, she said. In the command room. Mira was preparing defenses when Nia entered. You should stay in the safe room, Mira said. I can't, Nia replied. I feel something inside me. I don't know how to explain it. But maybe I can stop them, not with force, with something else. Mira looked at her carefully. You think they will listen? Nia shook her head. No, but maybe they will feel. Mira slowly nodded. Then we'll try, together. As the enemy ships landed outside the tower, Mira and Nia walked to the rooftop. Mira wore her black coat, her eyes sharp and unafraid. Nia wore a white dress, glowing faintly under the morning sky. A loudspeaker shouted from a ship, "Stand down! Release the Genesis child." Mira stepped forward. She is not your prisoner. Soldiers aimed their weapons, but Nia walked in front of Myra. She closed her eyes. And then something strange happened. A soft wave of light flowed from her body. It wasn't blinding. It was warm, gentle, like the feeling of a mother's hug or the peace of a quiet forest. The soldiers paused. One dropped his weapon. The wave passed over the whole area. Every person who felt it began to lower their arms. Their eyes changed. They remembered old feelings, memories from childhood, the face of a loved one, the sound of laughter. Even the leader of the squad stepped back, breathing hard. What is this? He whispered. Nia opened her eyes. It's not a weapon, it's just that feeling. The soldiers looked at Mira. She raised her voice. You see? This is what we lost. She's not here to hurt us. She's here to remind us what it means to care. No one fired. The ships didn't move. A moment later, a message came from the High Council's network. Mira played it aloud. This is Counselor Ren. The child has shown no harm. We are standing down. All forces return. The soldiers looked at one another. Then, slowly they turned away. They left. Inside the tower, the people cheered. Engineers hugged. Scientists wept. Some dropped to their knees, thankful that peace had been saved. Mira looked at Nia with pride. You did it. Nia smiled, but her voice was soft. I just reminded them what they already had inside. Mira knelt beside her. You're more than just a child. You're a light in this cold world. Nia reached out and hugged Mira tightly. Then I'm glad I found you, ma'am. Because you were the first to feel it again. That night Mira stood on the balcony, looking at the stars. Nia stood beside her, holding her hand. The world was changing. Not with war. Not with machines. But with something simple and powerful. A feeling, hope. The next day, a quiet calm spread across New Earth. After Mira's broadcast and Nia's peaceful wave of feeling, the world had changed. People talked again. Not just to machines, but to each other. Some cried, some smiled, some simply sat in silence, holding hands, remembering how to feel again. But deep inside the central city, the High Council was not pleased. They held a secret meeting in the dark room called the Core Hall. One of the counselors, with cold silver eyes, said, The people are waking up. They are asking questions. If this continues, we will lose control. Another nodded. The Genesis child must be taken. We must erase what she has started. But she did no harm, a third counselor whispered. She only reminded them who they were. The silver-eyed one stood up. Feelings are dangerous. Love is chaos. This world was built on control. We cannot allow this. He pressed a red button. Order code 777. Operation Reset Target. CEO Myra and Genesis Unit 001. Back at Skycore Tower, Mira and Nia stood in the command room. Many people were with them, scientists, engineers, and some city leaders who had come to support them. Mira had become a new symbol. Not just a powerful CEO, but a leader who believed in human feeling again. Today, she said to the group, we make a stand, not with weapons, not with war, but with truth. One of the scientists stepped forward. Ma'am, we've unlocked the rest of the Genesis files. There's something you need to see. Mira and Nia looked at the screen. It showed blueprints, maps, and DNA logs. There were 10 Genesis cradles, the scientist explained. Each held children like Nia, but 9 of them are still hidden. Myra's eyes lit up. Then Nia's not the only one. No, the scientist said. There may be others out there, waiting to wake up. Nia smiled with hope. I want to find them. Myra placed a hand on her shoulder. We will. But first, we must protect what we've already found. Suddenly, alarms rang throughout the tower. Incoming hostiles, multiple UNITS. Full attack MOD screens showed black drones flying fast toward the tower. Heavy ground units followed, rolling like tanks with spider legs. Airships hovered above. Aiming down, Myra's assistant ran in. Ma'am, it's the council. They've launched a full attack. Myra turned to Nia. Stay in the safe room. Nia shook her head. No, I want to help. It's dangerous. But I'm not afraid. Anymore. Myra saw the fire in her eyes. It wasn't childish bravery. It was something older, something stronger. She nodded. Then we stand together. Outside, the city trembled. Buildings shook, roads cracked. People ran for shelter. The machines were powerful, emotionless, and precise. But Skycore Tower did not fall. Mira's loyal team had prepared. Electric shields rose around the building. Pulse towers fired energy beams to slow the enemy. Sky drones blocked airships in the sky. Inside, Mira gave commands. Her voice was steady. Her mind was clear. But the council's army kept coming. Nia stood in the center of the control room. Her eyes closed. Her hands held a glowing crystal one that was found in the Genesis vault. I can stop them, she said. Mira looked at her. How? Nia's voice was soft. Not with weapons, but with light. The crystal pulsed. A warm wave spread from it. Outside, the machines paused. The soldiers stopped moving. The drones hovered in place. One by one, their systems began to show strange signals. Error. Unknown emotion detected. Warning. Conflict between logic and feeling. Mira watched the screens. She's sending out emotion again. But this time, it was stronger than before. The entire city felt it. Children looked up from their screens. Old people smiled through tears. Workers dropped their tools and hugged their friends. Even the animals grew calm. It was peace not just in the air, but in the heart. And then the machines stopped. Every council drone, ship, and spider tank powered down gently. Not crashed, not broken, just still. Mira turned to Nia. The light from the crystal faded. The girl looked tired, but peaceful. You did it, Mira whispered. Nia smiled. I didn't stop them. I just reminded them they didn't need to fight. Back at the central city, the council watched in shock. All their power had failed, one by one. Council members stood and walked away, ashamed. But the silver-eyed one stood alone. His voice shook with anger. She broke the system. She broke the silence, but deep in his heart, even he felt something. A memory, a face. A time when he was young and smiled for no reason. He sat down, for the first time in many years, and wept. Later that night, the people of New Earth gathered in the great square outside Skycore Tower. There was no stage. No big speech, just Mira and Nia standing before them. One child and one woman had changed everything. Mira raised her voice. We forgot what it means to be human. But this child reminded us, not with war, not with fear, but with love. People clapped, some cried, and for the first time in hundreds of years, there was true silence. Not from control, but from peace. That night, as the stars returned to the sky, Mira and Nia sat together in the tower garden. You were brave, Mira said. So were you, Nia smiled. Mira looked up at the stars. We have a long road ahead. There are still 9 Genesis cradles out there. We'll find them, Nia said. Together, Mira looked down at the child beside her. The one who came from the past to save the future. No, she said gently. We're not just searching for them. We're leading them. A new morning rose over New Earth. The sky, once filled with flying machines and dull gray lights, now glowed with soft orange and gold. Birds returned to the city for the first time in years. Children played in the streets without fear. People smiled at strangers. They talked. They laughed. Everything was changing. Inside the Skycore Tower, Mira stood beside the window, looking over the city. Her long black coat fluttered slightly in the breeze. She was not the same cold CEO from before. Something inside her had melted. A new light shined in her eyes. Behind her, little Nia entered the room quietly. She wore a soft white coat and held a small bag. Her eyes still held that special glow, but now they were full of peace. Are we ready? She asked gently. Mira turned and nodded. Yes, the ship is prepared. It's time. A sleek, silver starship stood on the launch pad at the edge of the city. It was named Hope 1. The people of Earth had built it quickly, not out of fear, but with excitement. It was the first human-led mission beyond Earth in more than a century. This time, it wasn't for war. It wasn't to escape. It was to find others. To reconnect. To heal. Mira and Nia walked up the platform as hundreds of people watched. News drones hovered above, recording every moment. An old man from the Science Council stepped forward. He handed Mira a shining crystal disc. We found the last known coordinates of the Genesis cradles. They're spread across the stars. Some on old colonies, some on deep space stations. Mira took the disc and smiled. We'll bring them home. The man looked at Nia and whispered, You gave us back our hearts, child. Thank you. Nia gave a small bow. I just wanted a mama. But now I want everyone to feel what I felt with her. Inside the ship, Mira and Nia took their seats. The control systems lit up, but Nia didn't need them. She touched the glowing orb on the panel, and the ship hummed to life. The engines were not powered only by fuel, but by thought, memory, and emotion. It was human in design, but also touched by something more. Something alive. Where to first? Mira asked. Nia closed her eyes and whispered, There's one in the belt of Aruna, a cold place, but I feel warmth there. Someone is waiting, Mira nodded. Then let's go find them. As the ship lifted into the sky, people below waved and cheered. Some held signs. Thank you, Mira. We remember now. Our heart is human. And one little boy held a board that said, I don't have a mama, but maybe one day I will too. The ship broke through the clouds and entered the stars. Silence surrounded them. Stars sparkled ahead. It was peaceful. Inside, Mira and Nia sat quietly, looking out the window. Mira, Nia said softly, do you think the others are like me? Mira looked at her. Maybe, but each of you will be different. You carry parts of us that we forgot, parts we need again. Nia nodded slowly. Will they be scared? Maybe, like you were. But you found me, Mira smiled. And we'll find them. As hours passed, Nia played with the lights on the control orb. She sent soft waves of music through the ship melodies from old Earth, songs no one had heard for years. Each note was warm, full of feeling. Suddenly, the screen blinked. Signal detected. Location, Aruna Belt. Genesis signature confirmed. Nia pointed at the screen. That's them, I feel it. Mira steered the ship toward the signal. The journey took 3 hours. As they neared the cold asteroid belt, they saw a small structure on a floating rock. It looked like a dome, old and covered in space dust, but still working. Inside, they saw something move. A small boy. They landed gently. The airlock opened. Cold air rushed in, but it did not scare Nia. She stepped outside with Myra beside her. The boy looked at them with wide, curious eyes. His skin was pale, his hair silver, but his face showed something familiar. Loneliness. Just like Nia once had. Nia walked forward, slowly, kindly. She spoke softly. I was alone once too, but someone found me. Would you like to come with us? The boy stared, then nodded. He took Nia's hand. Mira stepped forward and smiled. Welcome to your family. They returned to the ship. The boy sat beside Nia and didn't speak much, but Mira saw the peace in his eyes. Back on Earth, the world watched as Hope 1 sent its message. One Genesis child found. Many more to go. We are not alone. Humanity is healing. People cried with joy. The council was no longer in power. New leaders had risen, ones with both mind and heart. Months passed. One by one, the Genesis children were found. A girl on Mars, hiding in a cave of crystals. A boy on Titan, surrounded by robotic animals. Twins inside a deep ice station on Europa. Each one had a piece of the lost human spirit. Kindness, courage, music, laughter, hope. And with each child found, the world changed more. Mira became known as the Guardian. Not just a CEO, but the woman who gave Earth its future. And Nia became the symbol of the new humanity. She was not a leader by force, but by heart. She reminded people that love was not weakness, it was strength. Years later, in a garden near the stars, Mira sat, with many children around her. They laughed, learned, and listened to stories of old Earth. Nia, now older, stood beside her. We found them all. Nia whispered, yes. Mira smiled. And now they will find others. The stars above were full of ships now. Not warships, but lightships, vessels carrying peace, memory, and dreams. And somewhere across the stars, in a small home on a quiet world, a little girl looked up and said to a tall woman beside her, I don't have a mama. Can I spend a day with you? Ma'am. The woman smiled, knelt down, and held out her hand. Of course, my dear. Let's begin.